Alrighty, so as for the fourth most underrated fish is the third most underrated aquarium fish in my collection. The second most underrated aquarium fish. Alright, so as for the most underrated aquarium fish I've currently got in my aquarium. Hey, how's it going everybody? Welcome back to Aussie Fish Keeping. So today we're here in the fish room. So what we're going to be doing in the fish room today is we're going to be going around and looking at some of the fish I've got at the moment. So right now I've actually got quite a few different species of fish. So yeah, what I've done is I've picked out 5 of the most underrated fish that I'm keeping right now. These are just fish that I think don't get a lot of love. I think a lot more people should be keeping them. They're just awesome. And yeah, I've put them in the list from least underrated to most underrated. And I actually think it's a really good list. I'm actually very proud of myself. But with that said, let's just jump straight into today's video and let's go take a look at the first fish. Alright, so as for the first fish we're going to be taking a look at today, that is these guys right here, the paradise fish. So these guys I think are incredibly underrated. Well, not incredibly underrated. I mean, I know lots of people do keep them, but I just don't think they get as much love as they should. So all of these are fire and ice paradise fish, which is just sort of a strain, I guess. We got 2 that actually show the fire and ice trait. So that's these 2 males right here. And then we've got 3 that are just the regular, but they carry the fire and ice gene. Now, unfortunately for me, I'm out of females. I sold them all. So I've just got these 6 lonely males left, but they're all absolutely stunning. Like, I mean, this big male over here, this guy's super personable, which is actually one thing I really love about these guys. They always follow your finger around the tank. I mean, you can see this guy, he wants the smoke. This guy right here, I think, is the most gorgeous paradise fish I've ever seen. He's got beautiful long finnage, beautiful blue colors, beautiful orange colors. Everything about him, it's just beautiful. So one of the great things about these paradise fish is that they're actually a very cold tolerant fish, so they don't need a heater whatsoever. They are a gourami, so exactly like a Betta fish. They require literally the same care as a Betta, except they're more cold tolerant, so they can be kept, you know, outdoors. Here in Australia particularly, you can keep these guys outdoors pretty much all year round, depending on where you are. Another thing I love about these guys is they are very fun and easy to breed. So I've got a pair just up in the top tank up here. All right, so in this tank here is that pair. Now, there's the male back there. It's gonna be very hard to see because of reflection, but you can see just the absolutely humongous bubble nest he's got right now. The female's also in here. She's super duper fat right now, so she's probably gonna have eggs again any day now. But I mean, yeah, just take a look at the size of that bubble nest. It's absolutely monstrous. So yeah, these guys have been super easy to breed. Literally all I did is I just had this tank sitting around. I had nothing in it. Just has a bunch of algae, bit of suswasta tongue, no fish or anything. It was just bare. And I got this pair, so I just chucked him in. And after about a week, he started making a little bubble nest up in this corner. And then he just kept expanding it. And then I came in the other day and I saw some fry. I wasn't really trying to breed them. I won't probably save these fry. I'll probably do a separate video on breeding the paradise fish. They literally breed by themselves, particularly in a well set up aquarium like this, where it's just super natural. And yeah, if you like breeding aquarium fish, I would 100% recommend giving paradise fish a go. I think one of the only downsides to these guys really is that they are a little bit of a bigger fish compared to like Betta fish or other dwarf gouramis. So they will get, you know, pretty big, around that 10 centimeter mark, maybe a little bit longer, including the fins. And yeah, because of that, they do need a bit of a bigger aquarium. So for one, you could probably get away keeping 1 or 2 in a 20-liter tank, depending on how often you're doing water changes, if you've got other tank mates, you know, all those sorts of factors. But in this tank here, like I said, I've got 6. This is about a 3-foot aquarium. And they do definitely fight a little bit just because they're all males, but nothing really too bad happens. Like, they don't hurt each other or bang each other up too much. But yeah, I definitely think paradise fish are super underrated. 100% I would recommend getting some. They are one of the coolest fish I've kept in a long time. They're not too expensive either, so I sell these for 15 bucks, I think, on my website, which is super cheap in comparison to a bunch of other gourami species. And yeah, they're just really epic looking fish. So with that said, as for the 5th most underrated fish in my collection at the moment, I definitely think it's the paradise fish. Alright, so as for the 4th most underrated aquarium fish in my collection currently, that's these guys right here, the blind cave tetra. Now, even though people do keep these tetras quite a lot, I do think they're still very underrated. I think they're an absolutely awesome aquarium fish. So if you don't know what a blind cave tetra is, it's basically one of these guys back here. Not these gray ones, these are Sliceback exquisite rainbow fish, but these little white ones here, these are the blind cave tetras. So these guys are from Mexico, where they live in like deep underground caves, I suppose, and they don't have eyes. So that's why they're blind, but do not let that fool you. They are absolutely one of the most coordinated little aquarium fish out there. They can dart around your aquarium and not run into anything. They're not clumsy by any means. So these fish are absolutely awesome. If you like keeping like quirky fish like coolie loaches or spiny eels, peacock eels, things like that, these are absolutely perfect. They're just a really weird looking fish. And I absolutely love keeping them. I used to keep them when I was a kid as well, and I used to show them off to all my friends, and I thought I was the man because I had blind fish. And I was, don't get me wrong. So if you want to be the man too, definitely get some blind cave tetras. As for the fish themselves, they're very easy to care for. They're definitely some of the easiest fish to care for I've ever cared for. They literally require no special attention at all. You just throw them in your aquarium, throw them food once a day, and they're completely fine. They're actually one of the greatest little cleanup fish I've ever kept as well, because literally what they'll do is they'll just go around the bottom of your aquarium and eat everything. And I don't know if that's just because they're blind, they don't know what's food and what's not food, but I mean, you can see the substrate in this aquarium. It's absolutely pristine. Only downside to these guys, I think, is that they can be extremely nippy, and I don't understand how. I don't know if it's just because, you know, they think that the other fish are food or not. But yeah, you can see these rainbow fish aren't having the greatest time in here at the moment. But yeah, blind cave tetras, definitely 100% recommend getting them if you have a big enough aquarium. This is probably a little bit too small for them, but these are stock that I'm selling, so I'm not planning on keeping these guys. But yeah, with that said, as for the 4th most underrated fish on our list, it's these guys right here, the blind cave tetra. All right, so in this tank right here, you can just see one at the back there, is the 3rd most underrated aquarium fish in my collection, and that's the spotted blue eye. Now, you're gonna have to forgive me because these guys are very hard to film, but the spotted blue eye, I definitely think is one of the most underrated aquarium fish just in general. Not even just the spotted blue eye, just, yeah, blue eyes in general I think are underrated. The spotted blue eye in particular, it's just such a beautiful fish, and it's really not doing it justice right now. The spotted blue eye is so much smaller than any of the other blue eyes. I believe it's the smallest blue eye species, and it's got these beautiful, it kind of looks like a fairy almost, like particularly the males. They got these 2 little fins, little yellow fins that stick up, and then they've got that beautiful spotted patterning all down their body and the rest of their fins. So blue eyes, like the spotted blue eye, are so easy to care for. They are literally one of the easiest Australian native aquarium fish to care for. Another thing that makes them great is they're just so peaceful, so they can go with pretty well any sort of aquarium fish, except for those blind cave tetras over there. But yeah, literally anything. They're probably shrimp safe too. I've never kept them as shrimp, but I'd say adult cherry shrimp or adult caridina shrimp should be completely fine with them. I think one of the only downsides to these guys is kind of what they're showing right now, and that's that they're very shy. So oftentimes these guys will hang around the back. I'm sure if I added more plants in here, maybe even a spawning mop up front here, they would come to the front, but this group, yeah, is just super shy. They tend to hang out at the back there. So yeah, I don't want to stress them out for too much longer with this bright light on, but with that said, I definitely think the spotted blue eyes are another super underrated aquarium fish, and I would definitely get them if I didn't have them. All right, so as for the 2nd most underrated aquarium fish, that's these guys right here, the golden-eye cichlid. Now, the golden-eye cichlid, I've been keeping these guys for about 3 years now, maybe 2 years, and they're some of the coolest fish ever. I've never gotten to breed them, and that's because I think I've got 2 males, so I'm gonna need to swap one of them out soon. Now, these golden eye cichlids are some of the most beautiful aquarium fish you'll ever see. They're kind of like a cross between like a ram cichlid and a electric blue acara. They literally look exactly the same as an electric blue acara, just the size of a ram cichlid. So these guys have been super easy to care for. They require no sort of crazy water parameters or crazy heating. In fact, I don't even have a heater in their aquarium, and they've lasted, like I said, 2-3 years so far, and they've been going absolutely perfectly. I don't have a heater in any of my aquariums really, but it does get kind of hot here in my garage slash fish room. So yeah, I think these guys are so underrated. I don't see many people keeping them, and I think that's mainly just because there's not many people breeding them. I'm assuming they are relatively easy to breed. It's just kind of hard to find females, so I haven't been able to breed them yet. But when I find one, I will definitely film a breeding video on these guys because I think it'll be super fun. So I've got them in here with a few lemon tetras and apparently an Enla, which I don't remember putting in there. And they all get along great. There's no sort of aggression at all. They're actually a very peaceful dwarf cichlid. They're one of the most peaceful dwarf cichlids I've ever kept. But yeah, definitely the second most underrated aquarium fish. There's literally no cons to them at all. And you might be wondering, well, if there's no cons, then why aren't they number one on the list? And that's because this is my list and I get to decide, and I didn't want to put them at number one because I've got a cooler fish that I'm about to show you. So let's go look at them now. All right, so as for the most underrated aquarium fish I've currently got in my aquarium, I think everybody should have a tank with these guys in it, and that's the Betta picta. So Betta picta are a species of wild type betta. If I'm being honest, they're very plain. They're like a brown colored fish, except when they get in their breeding colors, they look absolutely stunning. So I've got at least one pair in here because they have been breeding for me. And then I'm not too sure what the sexes are of the rest. I'll take a look at them and I'll see if I can sort of work out how to tell the difference between male and female. Should be pretty easy. Once I take out this dominant pair, I think they should just start pairing off into small pairs. So fingers crossed that works. But yeah, like I said, these guys have been breeding for me, and one of the coolest things about these guys is, unlike other gouramis like your bettas and your paradise fish that blow bubble nests, these guys actually mouth brood. So actually there's quite a few different types of wild betta that do mouth brood, and it's super cool to see. So these guys are a mouth brooding betta. I only found that out when I bred them. Basically what happens is a pair will take up residence in something like this pot or some sort of structure, and they'll breed in there. They'll do this little embrace, and the females will lay the eggs. The males will collect those eggs in their mouths, and then they'll hold them, incubate them, protect them. So what I like to do is, when I notice the male with sort of like a bit of a gaping mouth almost, it just looks like there's something in his mouth, take him out, put him in a different tank. I wait a few days, sometimes weeks, and then when they're ready, he'll release the fry out of their mouth. And I've actually got quite a few over there, which I'll show you. You know what, let's go do it now. All right, so right over here, hold on, our little baby Betta pictas. Now, hopefully we're gonna be able to see them. I can already see a few. Zoom in. So there's one right there. I'll point an arrow to it, but I wanna try and get one in focus. Oh, here we go, here's one. So right there is a tiny, tiny baby Betta picta. You can see his belly is super orange, full of baby brine shrimp. There's actually heaps of baby brine shrimp in here at the moment. Probably a little bit too many. I think I got about 10 fry out of him, which is pretty good for a mouth brooding fish. Usually mouth brooding fish don't really have too many fry. But as you can see, I've got them in this little setup at the moment. No oxygen. Probably should have some oxygen in there, but they're absolutely tiny, so they don't really need it right now. I will be upgrading them into a little bit of a bigger tub like this very soon. But yeah, take a look at those. They're just the cutest little fry. They're actually a decent size too for a mouth brooding fish. Usually mouth brooding fry are very, very small, but these guys are nice and big, I find. So yeah, those are some of the fry that I got out of one of my Betta picta pairs. So yeah, they're very easy to breed. I mean, as you just saw, I've got a few little fry that I'm raising up at the moment. Besides that, they're very peaceful. So they're kind of like a sparkling gourami or a licorice gourami or a croaking gourami. They're just very, very easy to keep and very peaceful. So these guys could go with pretty much any sort of tetra, barb, rasbora. They've got a little bit of a sort of wide mouth, so you don't want to keep them with obviously too small rasboras, cherry shrimp, spotted blue eyes. Really small fish like that, probably not ideal. But as you can see up here, I did have some serpe tetras in with them. And they did absolutely great. I just sold the serpes, so that's why they're no longer in there. But yeah, they've been very peaceful. They weren't attacking the serpes at all. Even when there were pairs in there with eggs, they just sort of left the serpes alone. They'd chase them away, but they wouldn't nip at them or anything. But yeah, I definitely think more people in the hobby should keep these guys. They are absolutely awesome to watch, particularly if you set them up in like a blackwater aquarium or something like that. I definitely want to do a video on that. I think they look just absolutely awesome. I love keeping wild bettas in blackwater setups. This is my first time keeping Betta pictas. I have kept other wild bettas before, but yeah, first time keeping these guys, and I absolutely love them. I think I'll always have a pair in my fish room from now on. I'm gonna breed these guys up. I'm gonna try and get quite a lot of stock, and I'm gonna see if I can get them out into the hobby a little bit more. They're very sort of hard to come by, particularly where I live here in Brisbane. So yeah, I'm super stoked that I have some. 100%, if you get a chance to purchase some, definitely go ahead and get some Betta pictas. They're so cool. And yeah, definitely the most underrated aquarium fish in my fish room. So that is gonna bring us to the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed. I absolutely love showing off some of my cool aquarium fish. If you did enjoy today's video and you haven't done so already, make sure to go down and subscribe. While you're down there, smash the like button and comment your thoughts on today's video. I always love going down there and reading them all, and I reply back to every comment I get. Also, if you haven't done so already, make sure to go check out my website, aussiefishkeeping.com. I sell all sorts of live aquarium fish on there. Some of the aquarium fish that you saw in this video today are available. But yeah, I had heaps of fun filming today's video. I'm gonna film a lot more videos and get them uploaded a lot more often now. I'm on uni break at the moment, so I've got plenty of time on my hands. But yeah, with that said, thank you all so much for sticking around to the end. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in that next video.